Imagine a car so quiet that the loudest thing you hear inside it is your own breathing. No roaring engine, no vibrations, just pure, effortless luxury moving through the air. Now imagine that car is a Rolls-Royce. For more than 100 years, Rolls-Royce built its reputation on smooth engines and ultimate comfort. But now they've done something completely different. They removed the engine and replaced it with electricity. So the real question is, can an electric car still feel like a true Rolls-Royce? Welcome to the Rolls-Royce Spectre. Let's start with the design, because this thing doesn't just look expensive. It looks powerful in a quiet way. The front of the Spectre carries one of the most dramatic grilles Rolls-Royce has ever built. It's illuminated with soft lighting that makes the entire front glow at night. And sitting above it is the legendary Spirit of Ecstasy, redesigned to glide through the air more smoothly than ever before. From the side, the Spectre looks incredibly long and elegant. The roofline flows down like a luxury yacht, while the huge wheels give the car a confident stance on the road. It's not aggressive like a supercar. Instead, it gives off a different message. I don't need attention, but I'll get it anyway. And then, you open the door. This is where Rolls-Royce reminds everyone why they're still the kings of luxury. Inside the Spectre, everything feels handcrafted. Soft leather, polished metal, perfectly stitched details everywhere you look. And above you is the famous Starlight headliner. Thousands of tiny lights built into the roof that recreate a glowing night sky. But the Spectre adds something new. The doors themselves now sparkle with thousands of tiny illuminated stars. So when the cabin lights dim at night, the whole interior feels like you're sitting inside a moving constellation. Honestly, calling it a car almost feels wrong. It's more like a private luxury lounge that happens to move. And of course, cars like this attract some serious celebrity attention. Artists like Drake are already known for owning multiple Rolls-Royce models. Many of them heavily customized, and the Spectre feels exactly like the kind of futuristic Rolls-Royce that celebrities love adding to their collections. Now here's where things get interesting. Unlike traditional Rolls-Royce models, the Spectre doesn't have a V12 engine. Instead, it runs on a fully electric system producing around 577 horsepower. That might not sound crazy compared to hypercars, but remember, this is a massive luxury coupe. Despite its size, the Spectre can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 4.4 seconds. Which means this ultra-luxury car is surprisingly quick when it wants to be. But speed was never the main goal. The real focus was comfort. Rolls-Royce engineers spent years perfecting the suspension so the car could read the road ahead and adjust itself instantly. The result? A ride so smooth that bumps almost disappear. It genuinely feels like the car is floating above the road. And that's exactly the experience Rolls-Royce wanted. Because the Spectre isn't trying to be the loudest electric car, it's trying to be the most relaxing one. Now let's talk about the price. The Rolls-Royce Spectre starts at roughly $420,000. But Rolls-Royce buyers rarely stop there. Custom colors, unique interiors, personalized details. These options can push the final price far beyond $500,000. Which means every Spectre that leaves the factory is usually completely unique. A one-of-one luxury machine built specifically for its owner. So here's something I'm curious about. If someone gave you the keys to a $400,000 electric Rolls-Royce, would you actually drive it every day? Or would you keep it locked in the garage like a piece of art? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering the world's most insane luxury machines, make sure you stick around. Because the next car we're looking at might be even more unbelievable. Have you ever seen a car that looks less like a vehicle and more like a spaceship that accidentally landed on Earth? No giant brand logo, no flashy marketing, just a mysterious machine that makes people stop, stare, and immediately ask, what on earth is that? Because this isn't a Lamborghini, it's not a Ferrari either, and that's exactly why it's so fascinating. Some cars are famous, but others are so rare, they almost feel like secrets. So here's the question, could this be one of the most mysterious supercars most people have never heard of? welcome to the Peralta S. The first thing you notice about the Peralta S is the design. And honestly, it doesn't follow the normal supercar rulebook. Most modern supercars try to look aggressive, sharp angles, giant vents, huge spoilers. But the Peralta S takes a completely different approach. Its body looks incredibly smooth, clean, and futuristic. From the front, the car has a dramatic wedge shape that almost looks like it's slicing through the air. The headlights are extremely slim, giving the front a sharp, focused expression. It's the kind of design that feels more like modern art than traditional car styling. From the side, the profile becomes even more interesting. The roofline flows smoothly toward the rear, creating a shape that reminds some people of classic concept cars from the 1970s, but redesigned for the future. And that's exactly the idea behind cars like this. The Peralta S isn't trying to compete with mass-produced supercars. It's something much more special. A coach-built machine, which basically means the car is crafted in extremely limited numbers, with attention to detail that you rarely see in normal production vehicles. And honestly, when you move to the rear of the car, things get even more dramatic. The wide stance, the smooth rear surfaces, and the futuristic lighting all combine to create a design that feels incredibly exclusive. Now, step inside. The interior of the Peralta S focuses on simplicity and elegance rather than overwhelming technology. You'll notice clean lines, premium materials, and a cockpit designed to keep the driver at the center of the experience. No unnecessary clutter, just a modern, refined environment that matches the car's futuristic personality. And that's part of what makes cars like this so special. They feel less like mass-produced machines, and more like handcrafted works of engineering. Now here's something interesting. Cars this rare usually attract collectors. For example, soccer superstar Cristiano Ronaldo is known for owning some of the rarest cars ever built, including extremely limited Bugattis and custom hypercars. And honestly, a machine like the Peralta S would fit perfectly in a collection like that. Because this isn't just about speed, it's about exclusivity. About owning something almost nobody else in the world has. Which means owning a Peralta S isn't just about buying a car. It's about owning a piece of automotive art. So here's something I'm curious about. If someone gave you the chance to own a car this rare, would you choose something mysterious like the Peralta S? Or would you still go for a famous name like Ferrari or Lamborghini? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering rare luxury machines most people have never even heard of, stick around, and I will see you in the next video. There's a car that can outrun most supercars, yet people still drive it to the grocery store. Sounds crazy, right? Because usually when a car is insanely fast, it becomes uncomfortable, loud, and almost impossible to use every day. But this machine somehow does both. It's brutally fast, ridiculously precise, and somehow still practical enough to drive to work. Which raises a serious question. How did Porsche build a car that's both a supercar killer and a daily driver? Welcome to the Porsche 911 Turbo S. The first thing you notice about the 911 Turbo S is its shape. Because unlike many modern supercars, Porsche didn't try to completely reinvent the design. Instead, they perfected something that has worked for decades, that iconic 911 silhouette. The smooth curves, the wide rear body, and the instantly recognizable headlights. Even from far away, you can immediately tell one thing: that's a Porsche. From the front, the Turbo S looks clean but, aggressive. Large air intakes feed cooling air to the powerful engine while the low stance makes the car look planted to the road. From the side, the shape becomes even more dramatic. The wide rear fenders give the car a muscular look, almost like the body is stretched tightly around the massive wheels. And then you reach the rear. This is where the Turbo S really shows its personality. A full-width light bar, massive rear haunches, and an active rear spoiler that automatically adjusts at high speeds, which basically means this car doesn't just look fast, it is fast. But step inside, and things become surprisingly civilized. The interior of the 911 Turbo S is designed completely around the driver. The cockpit layout keeps every control exactly where you expect it. The steering wheel feels perfectly sized, and the digital displays provide all the information you need without overwhelming you. You also get premium leather, beautiful stitching, and a level of quality that feels solid and refined. Which is impressive considering this is still a car capable of supercar-level performance. And it's exactly why cars like this attract famous owners. For example, Hollywood actor Keanu Reeves is well known for loving Porsche cars and even racing them professionally, and honestly, the 911 Turbo S feels exactly like the kind of machine a true car enthusiast would appreciate. Because it's not just about showing off, it's about the driving experience. The Porsche 911 Turbo S is powered by a twin-turbocharged flat-six engine producing around 640 horsepower. And thanks to Porsche's advanced all-wheel drive system, that power reaches the road with incredible efficiency. The result? 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 2.6 seconds. This car is quick enough to embarrass many exotic supercars that cost twice as much. But what really makes the Turbo S special isn't just straight-line speed, it's control. The steering feels incredibly precise, the suspension keeps the car stable at insane speeds, and the grip levels are almost unbelievable. It's the kind of car that makes even experienced drivers feel like better drivers, which is exactly why the 911 Turbo S has built such a legendary reputation. The Porsche 911 Turbo S usually starts at around $230,000. And once buyers start adding performance packages, custom colors, and interior upgrades, the final price can climb much higher. Still, many enthusiasts consider it one of the best performance bargains in the supercar world. Because very few cars deliver this level of speed, precision, and everyday usability in one package. Now, I'm curious about something. If you had the chance to own a car this fast, would you drive it every single day, or keep it in the garage as a weekend machine? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering the world's most incredible performance machines, make sure you subscribe and stick around. I will see you in the next video. Most luxury cars panic the moment the road disappears. Dirt, mud, rocky terrain. Yeah, they'd rather stay parked outside a five-star hotel. But this SUV, it can climb a mountain, drive through a river, and still arrive at a luxury resort looking like it owns the place. Which raises a serious question. How did one SUV manage to dominate both off-road trails and the world of luxury? Welcome to the Range Rover Autobiography. First, let's talk about the design, because the Autobiography doesn't try to look loud or aggressive like many modern luxury SUVs. Instead, it does something much harder. It looks effortlessly expensive. From the front, you immediately recognize that classic Range Rover identity. Slim LED headlights and that tall, confident stance that makes the SUV look powerful without trying too hard. There are no crazy angles or oversized vents, just clean lines, perfect proportions, and a design that has quietly dominated the luxury SUV world for decades. From the side, the Autobiography looks even more impressive. The long, smooth body, the floating roof design, and the massive wheels give the SUV a strong yet elegant presence. It's the kind of vehicle that doesn't scream for attention, but somehow, it still commands it. Pull up anywhere in a Range Rover, and people instantly know one thing. You're driving something serious. But the real magic starts when you open the door. Because the Autobiography badge means this isn't just a Range Rover. It's the most luxurious version of it. Inside, everything feels calm, elegant, and incredibly premium. The seats are wrapped in ultra-soft leather. Beautiful wood trim flows across the dashboard, and every metal control feels solid and perfectly crafted. It's the kind of interior where nothing feels rushed or cheap. Everything feels intentional. But the real highlight might actually be the rear seats. Passengers in the back get massive legroom, reclining seats, and advanced climate controls, which means long journeys feel less like driving and more like relaxing in a private lounge. Honestly, the back seat alone could make some luxury sedans jealous. And this is exactly why vehicles like the Autobiography attract high-profile owners. For example, football legend Cristiano Ronaldo has been seen many times with luxury SUVs like Range Rovers in his collection. And it makes sense. When you have the money for almost any car in the world, you want something that's powerful, comfortable, and practical at the same time. Now here's where things get really interesting, because underneath all this luxury, the Range Rover is still a serious off-road machine. Depending on the version, the Autobiography comes with powerful engines that deliver smooth, effortless acceleration. But, speed isn't the main story here. Comfort is. The advanced air suspension constantly adjusts to the road, smoothing out bumps so well that the SUV almost feels like it's floating. Even rough roads start to feel surprisingly calm. But what really separates the Range Rover from most luxury SUVs is something called terrain response. With the push of a button, the vehicle can automatically adjust itself for different conditions. Mud, sand, snow, rocky terrain. The system optimizes traction, suspension, and power delivery, so the SUV can handle environments where most luxury cars would completely fail, which means the Autobiography isn't just built for the city, it's built for literally anywhere. From luxury hotels in Monaco to remote mountain trails. Now, let's talk about the price, because luxury like this obviously doesn't come cheap. The Range Rover Autobiography usually starts at around $150,000. But once buyers start adding custom paint, upgraded interiors, and technology packages, the price can easily climb much higher. Still, many buyers see it as worth every dollar, because very few vehicles manage to combine luxury, presence, and real capability the way a Range Rover does. It's not trying to be the fastest SUV in the world. It's trying to be the most complete one. Now I'm curious about something. If you had the budget for one luxury SUV, would you choose something flashy and aggressive like a Lamborghini Urus, or something timeless and powerful like the Range Rover Autobiography? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering the world's most incredible luxury machines, stick around, and I will see you in the next video. What if I told you, there's an SUV so comfortable that some billionaires actually prefer sitting in the back seat instead of driving it? Sounds strange, right? Because when you spend nearly $200,000 on a car, most people want to be the one behind the wheel. But this machine does something different. It keeps the driver happy, and the passengers even happier. And here's the funny part, from the outside, it doesn't even try that hard to look flashy. No giant wings, no crazy supercar design. Yet somehow, when it quietly pulls up somewhere, people instantly know something very expensive just arrived. So the real question is, how did Range Rover take an already legendary luxury SUV and push it even further? Welcome to the Range Rover SV. At first glance, the Range Rover SV might look similar to a normal Range Rover. But that's exactly the trick, because the differences here are subtle, but extremely expensive. Look closely at the front. Slim LED headlights, a perfectly balanced grille, and a clean design that feels incredibly modern. There are no aggressive vents or wild shapes. Instead, the design focuses on something far more difficult to achieve: quiet confidence. From the side, the proportions are almost perfect. The long body, floating roof design, and massive wheels create a presence that feels both elegant and powerful. It's the kind of SUV that doesn't scream for attention, but somehow ends up being the most important car in the parking lot. But the real story begins when you open the door. Because the SV badge isn't just a fancy name, it stands for Special Vehicle Operations, the division responsible for building the most exclusive Range Rovers ever made. And the moment you sit inside, you understand why. The interior feels calm, minimal, and incredibly luxurious. Soft leather seats surround you. Beautiful metal finishes reflect subtle lighting across the cabin. And everything feels solid, precise, and carefully crafted. But one feature surprises almost everyone. The ceramic controls. Yes, actual ceramic. The gear selector, volume knob, and key controls are made from smooth white ceramic. Now that might sound like a small detail, but once you touch it, you instantly notice how different it feels. Cool, solid, almost like touching a piece of luxury jewelry. And suddenly, you realize something. Range Rover didn't just design this interior. They obsessed over every detail. And then there's the back seat, which might actually be the best seat in the entire SUV. Rear passengers get reclining executive seats, massive legroom, and an environment that feels more like a private lounge than a vehicle. Some versions even include fold-out tables and rear entertainment screens, which means long journeys suddenly feel far more relaxing. And this is exactly why luxury SUVs like this attract high-profile owners. For example, NBA superstar LeBron James has been spotted driving high-end Range Rover models in the past. And honestly, it makes perfect sense. When you have access to almost any car in the world, you still want something that combines comfort, power, and everyday usability. Now let's talk about performance, because underneath all that luxury, the SV is still a very capable machine. The powerful engine delivers smooth acceleration and effortless power whenever you need it. The advanced air suspension constantly adjusts to the road surface, smoothing out bumps so well that the SUV almost feels like it's floating. And then there's the famous terrain response system. With the press of a button, the vehicle can automatically adapt to mud, sand, snow, or rocky terrain. Which means this luxury SUV can handle environments where many expensive vehicles would struggle. So whether you're driving through a busy city or exploring rough mountain roads, the Range Rover SV handles both with ease. Now, let's talk about the price, because, well, exclusivity like this obviously doesn't come cheap. The Range Rover SV usually starts at around $180,000. But once buyers begin adding custom colors, the price can climb much higher. And that's exactly the point. The SV isn't built for everyone, it's built for people who want the absolute best version of an already iconic luxury SUV. Now I'm curious about something. If someone handed you the keys to a luxury SUV like this, would you drive it yourself? Or relax in the back seat and let someone else handle the driving? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering the world's most incredible luxury machines, make sure you subscribe and stick around. I will see you in the next video.